So someone made the valid comment about, I got a lot of expensive pedals. I like pedals, but I like experimenting with them. But I wanted to make a little experiment here, and I picked up this Plethora X5 for a ridiculous price. I mean, $229. Guy had it up for $249. In box sealed. I don't know. It must have fallen off a truck. I don't care if you're Italian like me. You know what that means. Everything's perfect. It took me less than an hour to come up with 5 patches. Whoops, get rid of the glare. Got the compressor, the octaver, the phaser, reverse delay, regular delay, and I'm using the Big Sky, the new one, the MX, because I just love that thing. I've got my own tone prints in there. I mean, my own IRs, tone prints. Boy, I'm getting carried away. My own IRs, but right now I'm using the new spring with a little bit of delay before, so I might be able to repurpose the last delay spot there on the Plethora. But I really like the TC Electronic delays, and I went in and tweaked the living hell out of them. So all of these are really, really highly tweaked little presets I put in there. Whoops, the glare again. Sorry about that. And I got it so cheap. Now, the reason is, yes, I want to demonstrate that you don't need fancy pedals to do what I do. The only 3 pedals I'm keeping from the other board are the DD6, the modified DD6, the Tensor, and the Syntax Era. I can't live without the Syntax Era. It's this and the Red Panda Radius are, I can do so much with them, especially with an expression pedal. I still got my expression pedals. I've got my expression slider. And then the only thing that always stays is the command center. And I call this the command center because I've got my Wilson 12-position wah that's got the custom potentiometer, the old school potentiometer that are hard to clean. Once they get messy after a while, you got to use some really toxic stuff to clean it, but that's new. I love it. It's deeper. It's more vowel-y. I can't live without it. And then I've got the slow loris is adding a little movement and slapback. I always play with slapback and a little wobble into dirt. And for the dirt, I just picked up this, let's see if we can get close, the Broadcast AP2 from Hudson Electronics in the UK. And like I said, I run the wah, the slow loris into that. Out of that, into this Lightning Boy passive, completely passive, does not need power, transformer, 23 FV transformer. I found that the buffer sounds better after the transformer, before I go into my volume pedal, and then into the rest of the board. So I just want to demonstrate for you all right here that you don't need really a lot of fancy pedals. You could use any reverb you want. You could even use the reverb on the Plethora X5. Like maybe I'll do that at some point. But I love the reverse delay on this. Maybe this will help me open up another slot if the delay is too much with the Strymon delay, although the Strymon delay is pretty modest. I'm basically using the secondary functions on that for a lot of things. Anyway, we'll talk about that sometime. And then, yeah, way over here, I've got the VibraSlide little mini board. Now, that's a cheap board too. This was cheap, and that's just a splitter that keeps these out of the effects loop if I want. So if I press that, the effects loop is off. Although I kind of like the effects loop when I do use this, having this reverb and that like saturation wobble thing on. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but it's cool. I don't always bring this with me, so while I will maybe use it today to do the rest of this board, this is a lot to bring to a gig. And basically this, the command center and that would be a gig board because it's all in front of me flat. I don't have to reach over to second tiers when you're playing lap steel live and it's in the moment, and you're doing free improv. You don't, honestly, the second tiers bug me. So there's two phases to this. It's to show you don't need fancy effects. You maybe could just get a couple and get something like the Plethora. I considered some line 6 stuff, but the HX effects I love, but again, it's 2-tiered. And there was some other stuff I looked at, but when the deal came up for this thing, I went 5 effects in one thing for $229. Beautiful. And frankly, you only turn those things on occasionally. Like I'll leave the delay on, I'll leave the compressor on, they're on. But the low sub-octave I like to use once in a while. The phaser's connected to an expression pedal for speed, and the reverse delay I use every once in a while. So a lot of it's just coming from here and the command center. So right now I'm going to demonstrate that. And the 2 phases are, number 1, you don't need to spend a lot of money necessarily to do this type of stuff, this ambient cinematic free improv, whatever it is. And secondly, you know, like, this is the easiest way for me to go to a gig rather than bringing a big board. Yes, I prefer to put a board on a table next to me. That's not going to work all the time when you're going to a club, and you got to set up fast and make it work. So if I got this, I can just throw it down with the command center. They're all wired up. They're connected, powered by the Chalks DC7. And boom, I'm ready to go. That fits in a backpack. I mean, it's really a book bag backpack, and I have a little case for that. Done deal. And the expression pedals do a lot as well. All right, so let me show you that. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. But, you know, I could even do this with a cheaper board. That's the point, even cheaper than all this. So take care. Thanks for watching again, and dig in.